they call themselves a Christian, they have just literally engaged themselves in war. You know? That's why it's called spiritual warfare. You know? If you're in the spirit, you're going to have to learn to fight in the spirit. This is where they get their gain at. Because a lot of people, they be totally dominated by the enemy before they even gain knowledge of their spirit. So some people believe in this self as themselves, but they don't feel themselves. Why don't they feel themselves? Because the self that's really in them is being controlled. They haven't discerned the voices, the sounds of good and evil. Sometimes the thoughts don't always have to be ours. It's just like if you're in the supermarket and you walk to the counter and you be like, somebody walks in front of you. First thing you be like, man, who the hell is this guy, man? This word, you think I'm a punk or something? You gotta listen to your mind. Listen to it. Listen to that voice. You hear it all the time. You can't tell me you don't hear it. Good most of the time, you know what I'm saying? I believe that there's, it's like everybody has an assignment, a good and an evil, an angel and a devil. Angels kind of honor our existence. They honor our existence, so they don't violate our free will. So they're not as persuasive as the enemy is. So 90% of everything we hear, most of the time, is the voice of persuasion, if it's not ourselves. I believe that that's where, receiving the Holy Spirit. I think there's more than one definition for that. I believe the Holy Spirit is the spirit that was in you, the part of you that God knew before you was formed in your mother's womb. It's like he knew each and every one. And that's what I believe the Holy Spirit is. Receiving the Holy Spirit is receiving yourself. Jesus said, somebody asked him where the kingdom of heaven, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. And Jesus told him what? The kingdom of heaven is within. The kingdom of heaven is within. Do people really listen? The kingdom of heaven is within. I'm sitting right here now, man. I'm hit with stage 4 lung cancer. I'm going to fight it. But one thing I do know is, man, all my life, man, I was getting in trouble, going to the principal's office, doing stupid stuff, and I never really paid attention. But the voices I was hearing, that's why every time I got a beating, I was always like, I don't know. Because, the Joker done said something to me and then stepped off. Didn't even give me a defense. You know what I mean? Tempted me to do something, and then next thing you know, he's gone. So when I'm asked a question, he won't even help me defend myself. Just leave you out there to burn. But, and it's kind of like enemy of the state, because they hit me so hard that if I ever go public, nobody will ever believe me. That's how they played the game. That's how they playing the game. But still in all, I always knew to drop a jewel. It's like the first time I got locked up, I was saying to myself, right, I kept getting locked up, most of my life I spent I was in juvenile home and all that junk, right? So the first thing that come to my head is, wow, I gotta think. Why I keep getting locked up? And one day I just got locked up, man. It was like in Camden County, New Jersey, man. It's like this is like the dangerous city in New Jersey. And it's like, the first thing I said to myself is, damn, man, I can't understand why I keep getting locked up, man. Because I was working at McDonald's, frying Roy Rogers chicken and everything, man, trying to stay out of jail. For 13 years I stayed out from juvenile. 13 years. I even made it to the DMV, Department of Law. I could have legally carried a gun, being a juvenile delinquent. Worked my way to a lawful citizen, man. It was like, damn. But then I ended up, I took that turn, man. And when I finally got locked up, I said, damn, I always get locked up. So this guy said, man, what you really need, man, you need knowledge of self. And I'm like, knowledge of self? It's like, yeah, because you sitting here talking about how you out of control and you just can't understand how you get, man, you got to learn how to do the knowledge. Get knowledge of yourself. So then I was like, shoot, I knew somebody that always knew that stuff. So I said, let me find this guy. And this guy, he kind of like, when I asked him, I was like, it was brother named Star. I was like, Star gave me knowledge. He gave me the mathematics, the supreme alphabet, and gave me the student enrollment. And that's all he gave me. Boom. And then he broke it down, ran me through my mathematics, and from that point, man, it was like he planted a seed. And that was like a crazy seed, man, because it just kept growing. Because the more I listened, and I learned how to manifest it, it was like speak it, manifest it, there's wise words being spoken, just speak them out, and learn the verbatim. And then eventually, as time goes on, it's like, bam, I understood them. And now it's like it came crystal clear, just like I could see it right in my face. Like, it was like almost actual fact, like a different way of seeing things. By the time it formulated in my mind what it was actually doing to me, it was like being transformed by the renewing of the mind. Like it was just a whole dimension on how to see things, but more at a rational point. So I took this, and it was like it was like a ruler to a project. It was like that ruler can always tell you how far to go, what to, where to cut at, put lines and help you to get sizes and shapes. And that's what it did, man. I said to myself, you know what? I always, it was like there was this one thing. It was like build and destroy. Build and destroy, which is the eighth number. Build and destroy, 8. And building the story was like, I said, you know what, with this knowledge of being able to build and destroy, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab me a Bible and see if I could break it down to its lowest foundation, because when you do the knowledge, you got to break it down from the lowest to the highest, you know what I'm saying, and the highest to the lowest, you know what I'm saying? So you got to go low to see how low it go. Look at the foundation. You got to get the foundation down. Knowledge is the foundation, just knowing how it was put together and can it hold water. Is it really knowledge or is it trick knowledge? So, this is one book that you really have to go into. So I just read the Bible and, I did a lot of time, locked up. That's where I had plenty of time to myself to really, just think, and wasn't bothered by no bills or nothing. So I used that as a perfect time, to do the knowledge. So I grabbed the Bible and I started studying, man. I grabbed all these, like dictionaries, because I need at least 3 dictionaries, because some dictionaries have words that other dictionaries don't, biblical dictionaries. So, you got to get like 3 in order to be able to find